Have you ever seen a car crash that just didn't feel right? The road was dry. The weather was clear. No skid marks. No brake lights. Just a car, crushed at the front, wrapped around a tree, and a lifeless body behind the wheel. Most people said it was just a sad accident. Maybe the driver was tired. Maybe he was speeding. Maybe he lost control on that deadly curve. But Detective Harris wasn't buying it. He'd seen too many crashes in his 20 years on the force. Something about this one felt off. The angle of the crash, the position of the seatbelt, the broken glass, it didn't match the story being told. Everyone else closed the case. Harris couldn't, and what he found next, it changed everything. Stick with this story till the end, because what looks like a simple crash might just turn out to be a perfectly planned murder. Ready to dig deeper? The victim's name was Jason Miller, 32 years old, lived alone, no wife, no kids, worked at a local hardware store. Quiet life, no enemies, or so it seemed. He was found early one morning by a delivery driver. The car had hit a tree just off Highway 17, right at a sharp bend locals called Dead Man's Curve. The police arrived. Paramedics tried, but Jason was already gone. Time of death, around 2 a.m. Cause? Blunt force trauma. The first report said Jason had likely fallen asleep at the wheel. Maybe he had a drink or two. Maybe he missed the curve. That was it. No signs of foul play. But when Detective Harris saw the car, he paused. Something was wrong. The windshield was shattered, but not from the inside. The glass looked like it had been struck from the outside. And then there was the seatbelt. It was fastened, but it wasn't locked into the buckle, just laying across Jason's chest like someone had placed it there. That was clue number one. This wasn't just an accident. Something or someone didn't want Jason Miller to make it home that night. Detective Harris didn't share his thoughts right away. He quietly asked for the car to be towed for a second look. He ordered a full autopsy, even though the report already said accidental death. The next clue came from the medical examiner. Jason's injuries didn't match a high-speed crash. His ribs were broken, but too evenly, like someone had pressed down hard. Not like he'd slammed into a steering wheel. There was something else, too. A small bruise behind his ear, almost hidden, but fresh. Harris knew what that meant. A sharp blow just before death, maybe with a blunt object. That changed everything. He asked Jason's boss if he had any enemies. No, the man said. Everyone liked Jason. He was a good guy, quiet, hard-working, but then he added something strange. Last week, he seemed nervous, kept checking his phone, told me someone was following him. I thought he was just tired. Now Harris had a new question. If Jason was scared, who was he scared of? Detective Harris went back to the scene, this time alone. He walked the curve, looked at the skid marks, or rather the lack of them. No signs that Jason tried to brake. No swerve. Just a clean, straight line into the tree. It was as if someone else had been driving, or worse, someone had staged the crash after Jason was already dead. He checked nearby businesses for security cameras. Most didn't point toward the road, but one gas station about a mile back had a camera facing the highway. And at 1:42 a.m., there was Jason's car driving by. But there was something strange about the footage. Harris zoomed in. The driver's posture was off. He was sitting too straight, too stiff, and the lights inside the car, off. Jason hated driving in the dark. His friend said he always used the inside lights. But that night, nothing. Then came the biggest shock. 2 minutes later, another car followed Jason's. Same direction. No headlights, just taillights visible for a second as it turned the bend. Alles gut twisted. Jason wasn't alone that night. Someone was following him. Detective Harris turned his attention to Jason's past. If someone wanted him dead, the answer had to be buried in his life. He searched Jason's phone records. One number popped up again and again, always late at night. No name saved, just a string of digits. Harris traced it. It belonged to Erica Lane, Jason's ex-girlfriend. They had broken up 6 months earlier. Quietly. No drama. But neighbors said they had heard shouting a few weeks back. When Harris visited Erica, she looked calm. Too calm. She said they hadn't spoken in months. I moved on, she said, smiling. We both did. But Harris knew she was lying. He had the phone records. What did you argue about? He asked. She paused, looked down, then whispered. He said someone was blackmailing him. Said he had a secret. Well, he couldn't tell me. I thought he was losing his mind. What kind of secret? She shook her head. He never said, but he kept saying, they'll kill me if I talk. Now the case had changed again. This wasn't just about a car crash. This was about a secret someone was willing to kill for. Detective Harris now had a clear path. Find the secret, find the killer. He searched Jason's apartment. It was neat, nothing out of place. No signs of a break-in. But Harris didn't stop there. He looked deeper. In a small drawer behind some old bills, he found a flash drive. No label, no case, just tucked away like someone didn't want it found. Back at the station, he opened it. It held only one file, a video taken from phone. The footage was shaky. A parking lot at night. Jason's voice whispered, "They don't know I'm recording." The camera zoomed in on two men. One of them, Jason's boss. The other, someone Harris didn't recognize. They were arguing over money, over shipments, over silence. "You don't want to talk," the unknown man growled. "Because if you do, that little accident of yours might come early." Jason had been in the wrong place at the wrong time. He'd seen something he shouldn't have, and instead of running, he recorded it. That was his mistake. Harris now knew the crash wasn't just murder. It was a message. Stay silent, or end up like Jason. But Harris wasn't afraid. He was just getting started. Detective Harris now had the proof. But one question still remained. Who was the second man in the video? He ran the footage through the department's facial recognition system. Within minutes, a name popped up. Victor Rowe, a known fixer. No job, no address. Just a long record of nothing proven. He was the kind of guy who made problems disappear permanently. Harris checked traffic cameras near Dead Man's Curve. He found Victor's car leaving the area at 2:11 a.m., just 9 minutes after Jason's time of death. That was enough. He pulled records, traced the burner phone Victor used, and waited. A week later, Victor showed up at a cheap motel 2 towns over. Harris moved in fast. No warning. No chance to run. Inside the room, they found a black duffel bag. Inside, gloves, tools, and Jason's missing wallet. Caught cold. Under pressure, Victor gave in. He told them Jason's boss had ordered it. Jason found out they were moving illegal items through the store. He recorded them, said he'd go to the police. So they staged the crash. It was quick, clean, and almost worked. But one man, one detective, asked the right question. Why does this accident feel like a lie? And because of that, the truth came out. Jason Miller didn't die by mistake. He was silenced, but his voice lived on through the evidence and the detective who refused to let it go.